Hi everyone, today's video, I have both of the dogs with me. Hello, this is Hippo, if you don't know, Hippocampus. Kanga's right here on the other side. Today's video is something that I just kind of got inspired to talk about. And I don't want this video to get preachy. So I'm trying to kind of traverse that line between like, hey, just this is something you should think about. And like I'm preaching and like getting on my soapbox and like yelling down at the crowd. I don't want to do that. But one of the things that I focus here on my channel is about sustainability, and that's a relatively new focus of my channel, but it is something that I'm extremely passionate about. If you don't know, I'm a scientist. I study ecology, animal behavior, parasites, things like that. That's what I do, and that's my love. That's like what keeps me going every day. That and these little children, of course. So I am pretty well versed in sustainability, climate change, the whole shebang. I know a lot about it. Again, I study it. It's part of what I do for my actual job, what I live my life for, my purpose for being on the earth. So, it's holiday makeup time. They're just starting to release all of these holiday makeup, all of these holiday makeup sets and things like that, and it's so exciting. And I can tell you, in the past, for sure, I have just dove right in and bought all of the things. And that's not good. And I will be honest, a lot of those things I have gone ahead and decluttered in years since that happened. But there's also just something that I'm really noticing that I think should be discussed more. And I know that I'm not, like, this is not a novel concept. I'm not the only person that's ever talked about it, but it is something that I would like to talk about. We're gonna have a water break. You have water in your bowl, buddy. This is one of my Halloween cups. At the Mackay Manor, that's what I call our house. It is Halloween season. I have on Halloween leggings today. I'm gonna go to school in that. That's how I dress. That's how I live my life. I like it. So, what I was trying to say, I've seen these things starting to come out. And it's not just holidays, just in general. And there's just so much excess packaging. So one of the things that started it was the new Glamlight palette. So Glamlight is that company that makes really cool palettes that have really good color schemes. And from what I've heard, I've never tried it, really high quality, which is excellent. But everything is like themed and shaped kind of weird. So they did like a hamburger palette, and they're huge. And people didn't like that because they're like, it's really hard to store these things. And they're like, got you, I hear you, which is excellent. All brands should listen to their consumers. Here for that. And so now they have this ice cream palette, and it's coming in this big truck-shaped PR box. You open the box, and then it's a square palette. So you get this like experience of like, oh, it's an ice cream truck, cool. And then you take out the palette. And that's fine. It's a cool experience. I get all of that. But how many people, and you have to be honest with yourself, and this is where it comes in. You have to think about this and be honest with yourself. Are you gonna keep that giant ice cream truck PR box? Or are you gonna be like, wow, that's fun, and then throw it away? Or maybe keep it for like a week or two and then throw it away. Because then what you're doing is taking this thing that's cool and then putting it in waste. And you're just creating more and more waste. And I think you can make the argument that it's cardboard. And I do believe it is cardboard. And so you can recycle cardboard depending on where you live in your recycling. Like our recycling plant that John and I, because our apartment complex doesn't offer recycling, which is terrible. And so we go to a local recycling like drop-off area, and they no longer accept cardboard. So you have to know these things. You know, I don't know where you live. I don't know what that means. I'm just saying that's another thing you should think about. And the issue is just like, it's a cool experience for like a minute, and then you throw it away, and then you're just creating more waste. And I've seen this, that's just like one example that I just was like, what? And they also have these like ice cream cone shaped boxes that are really cute. They look like those sundae cones that you used to get, like, I don't know, we used to have them in like the lunchroom when I at school. And there's these like big like ice cream cones, and then you take out a single liquid lipstick. Cool, very cute packaging, novel idea. I understand all of that. But then you have this ice cream cone packaging. What are you gonna do with that? Are you gonna keep it? Is it gonna be a part of your life forever that you love and enjoy? Cool. Then maybe that's like worth creating that packaging. Are you going to throw it away? I feel like more people probably land in that section where they're going to just throw it away. Why are you buying it? You're buying it for this giant thing that you're going to throw away, And I just think that's a problem. I think it's a problem in a lot of different facets of our lives, but one that's so easy to control is beauty. And it's, it's like we talk about, or I talk about a lot, you have to put your money where your mouth is. You can't just say like, oh, I care about climate, and then continue to buy things that have all this excess gross packaging. That's not good for climate. And you might be like, why should I care about it? So, the Australia wildfires, that seems like millions of years ago because it was pre-COVID. But that is directly linked to climate change. Right now, it's September 11th today. The wildfires in California that have turned the sky orange, climate change. And you might be like, I don't understand that link. So what it's done is because the overall temperature has risen of the world, it's created more drought. And so when a little spark occurs, instead of it being able to be dampened by the natural soil moisture, it can ignite and then spread very quickly. Also, hurricanes. This hurricane season's been pretty devastating. We've had inland hurricanes, Iowa's storm recently, and then was it Utah that had like a Cat 5 hurricane inland? Something crazy like that? All of that can be linked to climate change because it's about the difference between the temperature between the atmosphere and the ground. And that creates these funnels. And there's a lot more science behind it, and you can easily look it up. And I'm not like an expert in any of that. But it's all linked back to how we as humans are changing the climate. And if you're one of these people that's like, oh, cool, but the climate is on cycles, that is accurate. That is historically accurate. We can tell that by rings of trees, by bone density, and the, what is it called? The stable isotopes in different bones from fossils and things like that. We know all of that the climate does have cycles. What we also know is that this cycle is being expedited exponentially faster than the normal cycles, and that can be directly related to CO2 and methane and other greenhouse gases emitted by humans. We know they were emitted by humans because, again, of those isotopic structures. Man-made CO2 has a slightly different structure and chemical composition than natural-made CO2. So they can put it through all these machines and determine what is the actual source of that CO2. And so that's how we know that humans are whoosh, just like their output of CO2 is absurdly high. And because it's so absurdly high, it is increasing that greenhouse gas effect and warming the planet much quicker than it naturally would. We know that. It is scientifically proven over and over and over and over and over again. And there's no evidence at this point, science changes on a daily basis, to disprove that theory. Okay? So we know that humans are, through our behavior, are impacting climate. We know that that impact in climate is literally killing thousands of people and organisms every day. So, to me, what that says is we have to do something about it. And altering your consumption is one of the best things you can do. Single-use plastics. We talk about that. I just made a haul about how I'm switching from plastic bottled soaps to soap that is in a bar and making sure that that bar soap is not wrapped in plastic itself. Something really easy, not a hard transition. I carry around straws in my purse all the time. I have a clean straw bag and a dirty straw bag, and we use them, and then we go into the dirty straw bag, and then we clean the straws. It's really simple, because I like to drink out of straws. I love it. Exhibit A, straw, right now. So, I just think it's something we should think about. I think it's something we should think about in all of our purchases. And one really easy thing to do, and that's relevant on brand for this channel, is makeup. Think about what you're bringing in and how much excess packaging that has. And does it need that excess packaging? And even if you can recycle it, it still costs energy to make that packaging and then to recycle it and transform that packaging into something else. All of that is energy. And energy The increase in energy also increases our carbon footprint. Really, direct relationship there, I promise you. We can do, if you need some scientific articles, I can get them for you. I can get you a whole slew of them. It's all real. If you don't think it's real, you got to be disillusioned at some point. It is real. It's a very scientifically valid and like rigorously studied phenomenon. So, think about this as you purchase. Somebody just killed my dog. This is how he barks when he sees someone. It's very dramatic. Kanga's taking a nap. She's not concerned about it at all. Good girl. Don't bark. You don't need to bark. Just keep napping. Thank you. My poor neighbors, they hate us. So, what can we do? We can put our money where our mouth is. Don't purchase these items that have all of this excess packaging, especially if you know it's just going to go right into the recycle bin or trash can. Don't do it. And another thing, besides all this like giant packaging that we see, there's also like little packaging things. Like something that's really common in like holiday season is for companies to come out with like mini mascaras or mini lipsticks in an ornament. And I get that. That's really cute. You can put that ornament on your tree. Maybe if you have like a bunch of children or siblings or something like that all enjoy makeup, it'd be really fun for like when Santa comes, whether you think it does or not, to like put it all over the tree and like be like, oh look, here's your presents. Like I can see all of that. I can see the experience. It's beautiful. But then you're gonna just throw away that packaging, aren't you? And if you're not, that's cool. You might keep that as your ornaments every single year. Awesome. But if you are, just think about it. It's just, these small, easy steps we can take. Also, I've been talking about this a lot because it's very evident in my own really absurd, excessive makeup collection. Makeup ages, and as it ages, the quality decreases. Now, that means that if you have 15 palettes, if you watch people that pan that palette and stuff, it takes a year to go through an eyeshadow palette. And that's with really extensive use of that palette. In 15 years, the palette isn't gonna be so good. And I get wanting to have like, okay, I get that, but like, I really like this novel shade. Well, maybe instead of buying a whole palette that has something different, buy a single. And you can buy a single in packaging, or you can buy a single in just the pan, which has like almost no packaging, and put it in a Z palette. That's definitely where I feel like my future of makeup is going to lead me into buying. I don't have a Z palette right now, or a magnetic palette. It doesn't have to be Z palette. A magnetic palette is what I'm trying to say. But things like that, just think about it. Because then instead of being like, hold on, let me grab an eyeshadow palette. I'm just gonna grab one at random. So, we all do it. If you're like, here's a palette and I have most of these shades, but this shade I don't have. And it's really unique to my collection, so it's worth buying. I get that. But you could just buy that single shade and then you don't waste all of this excess packaging. Just something to think about. There are a lot of brands, both mainstream and especially indie, that are really being cognizant about making good packaging choices. So think about it. But also think about not over consuming, because it's going to get old and then it's going to be gross and then it's not going to be any good. And this, we're talking about makeup here, but this applies to a lot of areas of our life. I was recently watching, like I told y'all, like we decorate for Halloween. I bought this cup 5 years ago. We keep it, we pack it up every year, pull it back out. It's like I have new stuff every single year. I was watching someone that talks about how they buy brand new decorations every year and then throw them away at the end of the season and then buy more. Don't do that. That's so wasteful. With money and with materials. Like, just buy a bin and keep it. And then you can have a new bin the next year. Then you can have it brand new the next year. And if you don't have room to store that, then maybe don't buy and stuff. I don't know. I just feel like we are seeing the effects of climate change so apparently all over the world right now, and we're not doing anything about it. But then we're like, what? How is this happening? How are we having all these fires? This is crazy. It's a related event. So just think about it. It's not just for you. You know, we have to think about the world as a whole. You might really love makeup and want to try so many things, and I get that. And you know, I'm not saying you should never buy anything or consume anything. That's not realistic. But if you can change your habits just a little bit, and that can make a huge difference for the entire world, not just humans, but other organisms as well, I don't see how that's not worth it. Like, to me, that is so easy and so worth it. So I don't really get the argument that, like, but I want to do this. I get it. I'm not saying you can't ever buy makeup again. I'm saying just be cognizant of it. And maybe instead of buying 10 eyeshadow palettes this holiday season, buy 1. Buy 9. You know, it can be a slow and steady. It's definitely, for me, it's been a slow and steady journey. One baby step at a time. We're going to make mistakes. But it's just so important. And it's not something we can continue to ignore. It's not. So think about it, process it, make your decisions. And just keep that in mind whenever you make any purchasing decisions or other decisions, you know, when you decide to support different brands or when you decide to get in your car and drive somewhere. Just everything. Just something to think about. Again, I don't want to be preachy. I feel like I said I didn't want to be preachy, and it really quickly got very preachy, and I apologize for that. That was not my intention. I just want us... A lot of my channel really is focusing on making good buying decisions. And that literally, usually lives in the realm of like makeup and beauty and like homeware things. But it can be broader. It can be in every aspect of your life. And I think if we all make little bitty decisions, just tiny changes that you in your daily life probably won't even notice, we can make huge strides for the entire world. And to me, that's worth it. So, that's my thoughts for the day. A little preachy, and I apologize. Again, that wasn't my intention. It's just what it's on my mind, what I'm thinking about, and what I thought might be helpful for y'all, and something that y'all probably have thought about. And I don't know about you, but like, even though I think about it a lot, I can always use another reminder. Like, I don't think this is like a novel video that no one's ever thought about. I know it's not. I've watched videos like this. But just, you know, we can think about it in everything we do and be better. And that's really my intention, is for everyone to just make little bitty changes and be better in the long run. So I do hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe you learned something. Maybe it sparked your interest, and maybe it will help you make better decisions in every aspect of your life. That's what I hope. That's the goal. So as always, if you have any questions, requests, suggestions, comments, anything at all, go ahead and leave those down below. I hope you're having a good day. I hope you're having a spooky time. It's been really spooky in Ohio since September 1st, and I like it. I like to be spooky. We're going to be spooky until October 31st, and then we flip to Christmas, which I'm also really excited about. So yeah, I will see y'all real soon. Bye.